Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing on this Sunday morning? I decided to have an early morning one today, and I'm just still in my pajamas, sitting at my dining room table, having a cup of tea with y'all. Gotta have a cup of tea in the morning, especially, I just come in from walking Vivi, just around the yards to get my pajamas on. Who am I going to see out here? Just saying. I want to talk about a couple of things. Like, don't I always? I want to talk about some stuff that happened while the mango moose knuckle was away in the Middle East. I just want to say the difference between him and Joe Biden is night and day. It's like heaven and hell, literally. Literally. Joe Biden was the kindest, most influential president ever. Nobody's passed that many bills to help so many people. I just wish him well in the difficult days ahead, that's for sure. God bless you and keep you, Joe. They say that only the good die young, but like my dad used to say, some people, they didn't know the man go moose knuckle, but he's going to live till he's 130. But anyway, Trump told his new fave interviewer there, Kristen Welker, on Meet the Press, that he'll only take credit for the good parts of the economy. Because the bad parts, well, that was all Biden. He actually said that with a straight face. I think the good parts are the Trump economy, he said. And the bad parts are the Biden economy. Because he did a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything. And then he says in the next breath that he takes responsibility for everything. But only since he's been in office. What's the stock market done since he's been in office? But only when it goes up, it's Biden's, or it's his, and it's only been in office like 3.5 months. The tariffs have just started kicking in all around the world. He says, the tariffs have just started kicking in, and we're doing well. Psychologically, I mean, the fake news. Fake news is giving me such press on the tariffs. The tariffs are going to make us rich, he says. Bingo. Because that's his motive for doing everything. That's his motive for breathing. It's money. He went to the Middle East last week and he claimed he made over $2.2 trillion in trade and onshore deals with Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Well, to be fair, he did make some deals. He did. Like $2 billion in crypto for his kids' company. A $400 billion 747 jet, all decked out, that the Pentagon has gladly accepted, and you taxpayers are going to pay almost $1 billion? Yeah, almost $1 billion to refit that, so he can take it home with him when he's done. It's like a prize. He managed to get deals for 3 hotels in Saudi Arabia, one in Riyadh, 2 others, one giant $8 billion by the time it's done golf and beach resort in Qatar, and an 80-story tower in Dubai. So he made deals all right. He said he's lifting sanctions on Syria, sweet suffering. Why? Because they have a new, handsome, very strong, very powerful new leader. Yeah, he used to be one of the leaders of Al-Qaeda. That's the kind of leader this guy is. But no, he's handsome. He'll do. He likes pretty. Donnie likes pretty. But this is what chaps my cheeks. According to the Boston Globe, Kate Zacharuski, Abigail Hauslauner, and Susanna George, the headline reads, Trump is taking credit for Middle East deals that predate his presidency. So the moose knuckle staff, Caroline Kaboom, some people call her KK Caroline. I don't know why they do that. But she keeps saying that he's the deal maker in chief. And so say they all, I must admit. But because it's in the script, they have to say it. If they don't, out the door. They say he secured all those investment agreements during the Middle East tour with monarchs like himself. Just ask him, he'll tell you. The White House released daily lists of deals they said that Trump had secured, but just almost half of them were announced way before Trump was even elected, according to Washington Post. when he was in Doha, the Trump regime announced an $8.5 billion deal involving a Texas energy company called McDermott. One focused on Qatar's LNG expansion, but those deals were made by Joe Biden in 2023 and 2024. In Abu Dhabi, the regime announced a $200 billion new commercial deals with the UAE. Most of that came from a private company, Amazon, for cloud computing. Trump said the deal would contribute $181 billion for the local economy. But that was back in 2023 when that was done. And here's the thing, Amazon already announced that back in October, and the company only committed $1 billion over 6 years. The 181 came from an Amazon study, and it was a broad calculation of how much the UAE could increase the GDP if it started moving more cloud services. So no, that wasn't a deal. The math simply isn't mathing, to quote from their script. The White House claimed that Trump secured $1 trillion on his get-rich-quick scheme is really fuzzy. You have to squint really, really hard and blur your vision. You know, like when you want to see, like on a Rorschach chart, what do you see? Yeah. Squint your vision a lot to make those numbers feasible. The total of his trip's money value isn't even $1 trillion. It's about 860 billion. The Mango Moose Knuckle is adding things that he made announcements about back in February. They're done. That didn't happen in the Middle East on this tour. But sounds good, right? And you know when he makes announcements, it's 9 times out of 10, it's bullshit. Like, they're eating the dogs. He announced a very vague plan that the UAE would result in $1.4 trillion in investment over the next 10 years. I'm surprised he went with that deal because he'll be out in 3, yeah, maybe less. And apparently the UAE and the White House announced that deal back in March. The one thing the wannabe king and dictator did do at the Saudi Investment Forum in front of Saudi royalty, American billionaires at a speech in Riyadh, and this is Ellen Nickmeyer of the Boston Globe, and she writes, he condemned what he called the past interference in the wealthy Gulf states. Gone were the days when American officials would fly to the Middle East to give you lectures on how to live and how to govern your affairs. So you know what that means. Trump is all about how much money he's going to make, but he's silent on their human rights over there. Remember he was after Hillary all the time? Oh yeah, they gave you $25 million. They're horrible gay people. They're throwing them off buildings and they're killing women and they're horrible to women, but you took their money. Are you going to give it back, Hillary? Well, how about all this shit? You didn't mention anything about their human rights and butchering Jamal Khashoggi, but you're willing to take their money, and it's not even 25 million. This is billions that you're taking off, but you're okay with that, right? As long as you're the one getting. Sweet suffering. Trump spoke directly to Mohammed bin Salman while he was doing this whole speech, who was all smiles, he was clapping. But you know whose words struck alarm with the Saudi journalists, human rights groups, human rights activists, business people, and writers who had to flee the kingdom? Trump's words were loud and clear. They were loud and clear to me, and they were loud and clear to most of the people in the Middle East, that the U.S. is stepping away from their longtime role as an advocate for human rights around the world. And that includes Ukraine, and that includes anybody else that is in conflict right now. So I'm going to go back, get my breakfast, enjoy the rest of my tea. And I hope you guys have a great day. I've got another one I'm going to do later after I get dressed for the day. But anyway, here's me and my jammies on a Sunday morning. 9N loves you. Be good, be safe, and please take care of you first. so you can be good to somebody else. If you're new, welcome. Love me, like me, share me. And hangers on, thanks for hanging on. I love you all, and don't forget to subscribe. I love ya.